Well, hello again, and welcome back to another ramble. I was thinking today that I'm someone who likes to learn from the past in order to inform the future. And the wisdom of people who lived in the past is a great inspiration to me. If I think back to my own childhood in Cornwall, my dad and my grandfather were always out. They were out fishing or they were out shooting, because a lot of the protein we put on our table as kids came from the wild. We had a lot of rabbit, we had a lot of pigeon, we had pheasant, we had woodcock, we had snipe. Occasionally even at things like, rook. Rook pie is delicious, by the way. On top of that, because Cornwall is surrounded by sea, we also of course had fresh mackerel and winkles off the beach and crabs and all sorts of things. Yes, winkles, it's not funny. And I always remember something my granddad used to say quite regularly as he was tearing bunches of plants out the hedgerows. He'd say, what grows together goes together. Now, interestingly, this has a kind of basis in some science, I suppose, but certainly has a basis in gastronomy. If you look at traditional French cookery, they talk about something called terroir, which is like spelled like terror with an I in the middle and an E on the end. But terroir is the idea that things that grow in the same place, that are breathing the same air, that are using the same water, that are digging into the same earth for their nutrients, will have a kind of flavour, identity or fingerprint, which means that the foods will go together. So foods that are grown in a certain area of the Dordogne, for example, will go with wines that come from the Dordogne. Now, I kind of know what my granddad meant, because he would point out things like, rabbit and wild garlic just go so well together, or venison and blackberries, or I'm trying to think of other examples, samphire and seafood, or seaweed and winkles even. Yeah, winkles. It's not funny. There does seem to be some truth in this idea. And so it's just one example of the kind of wisdom that he used to throw out all the time, that sort of simple folk wisdom that isn't based on actual science. It was based on decades and generations of observation and testing and trying things, which now science is kind of starting to catch up on. We're starting to realise that some of this old perceived wisdom actually had some kind of scientific basis. Fascinates me. Mind you, Grandad also used to break wind quite regularly because he didn't believe in keeping it trapped. And he would always say after a particularly meaty one, he'd say, sniff it up, boy, there's plenty of people in the graveyard who'd like to smell that. Which I suppose is true, but it wasn't much consolation at the time. Anyway, that's your lot, just a short one today. See you for the next video. Bye bye.